fiscal year 2015, the federal government will spend roughly $550 billion on the military. And that doesn't even include war funding. For comparison, that's larger than the size of the entire economy of Sweden. Here's the quick and dirty of how that spending breaks down. $496 billion is for the Department of Defense base budget, while around $25 billion is for nuclear weapons and other related programs. And all of that funding is just for regular peacetime operations. There's a whole other budget for war.
World military spending. This means the expenditure by a country's government on the military forces, that is, maintenance and operations, military research and development, military aid, salaries and pensions, and many more.
America can have a huge impact in the world without even deploying our military. And we do. What Ron Paul says is that defense ought to be defense, not offense. And with America going broke, we can't afford to spend more on our military now than we did when Russia threatened to annihilate us. But we do.
Some experts say managing our spiraling debt means allocating less money for defense. Opponents say cuts in defense spending will cut our military might as well. Strategic cuts could actually help strengthen the nation, notes senior fellow Michael O'Hanlon as he takes a closer look.
The way to think about defense cuts is we may have to accept some risk for our long-term good because our debt itself has become a threat to our longer-term national security. There are three main areas I would look to for savings. One is indeed the size of the military, and specifically ground forces, which grew about 15% after 9/11, and I think can be returned to their pre-9/11 level once the Afghanistan conflict really winds down. Now, that entails some risk. It makes it harder to do two operations at once, as we've just learned, which is the whole reason we added 15%. But the good news is we saw we could add 15%, and Rumsfeld opposed it for half a decade when he was Secretary of Defense, but it turned out that we could do this fairly well and still have an excellent military.
We all know that the United States of America is one of the most advanced and developed countries in this world, noticeably in the field of military. Statistics of the top 8 countries are: United States of America, $682 billion. The military spending of USA is 6 times more than China, 11 times more than Russia, 48 times more than Israel, and 100 times more than Iran.
What we do is we cut our defense and corrections spending, and we free that money up. Hopefully it goes into capital formation for businesses and in some way impacts poverty, which will lead to people having more money so they can pay more taxes or pay for private education. They see a rise in education, rise in industrial competitiveness, rise in GDP, rise in economic productivity. And then perhaps once we have a much better parity economically, we could look at regrowing the military. But our military, combined with our allies, Japan, South Korea, France, Britain, Germany, is the vast majority of the entire world's military. So what is the threat we're concerned about?
Building nuclear weapons cost US $17 billion. Every kid on Earth could be educated for $12 billion. Spending money on something that causes pain and destruction over world peace is not the right way. Prioritize the taxes. Make this world a better place to live in.